Okay, well, the temperatures are rising and it is almost swap meet season. And I was online and I saw this really interesting product. It was a 3-in-1 sort of cart, tow hitch rack, and a roof rack. And so I thought, well, I wonder if I could hack one of these regular trailer hitch cargo racks and turn it into a wagon. And I've seen a couple people do it. So I started looking around for parts to try and do it. If this hack works, I may try to go find one that I can use a folding hitch for. I'm not going to use it as a roof rack like this one that you can buy on Amazon, but I do want to try and add some wheels to this. So I did go ahead and pick up some caster wheels. I've got 2 that swivel for the front, and then I've got 2 that are fixed for the rear. And then I also have this whole kit for a wooden dolly. And I think if I get some U-bolts, we should be able to just clamp this here and clamp it here in the front, and then take this and clamp it to that bar right there, like that. And I think I can turn this into a wagon. Let me go ahead and try and see if I can find some U-bolts that will fit.
And don't forget to sign up for our giveaway from our friends over at HyperTough. They're giving away a HyperStack modular toolbox system. So make sure to check below for the link on how to sign up.
3 weeks later.
Here's a U-bolt that I got from Amazon. This is the closest one that I could find that would fit, because you've got a couple dimensions that you're working with here. Is this dimension here, which isn't very thick, and then you've got to work on this dimension here. So these fit, and they will fit in there like that. The problem is, actually, let me flip this cart upside down. It'll be easier for me to work with. Okay, so I got these U-bolts. These are the closest that I could find that would fit this spacing here. The problem is they're really long and the thread doesn't go all the way down. So if you look at it, if I go on the other side of this bar and I go up and I tighten the nut down, there is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bit of a gap. So let me see if I can cut some new threads and try and get this a little bit tighter. And then what I'll do is basically just cut it off. The swivel will hit this stud. On the back, it's fine, but on the front, we need to just cut the threads a little bit more. So let me go ahead and try and do that right now. Okay, well, I'm running into a bit of a problem. So not with the die itself. So you can see it's an M8 by 1.25. And so that thread's on okay. The issue that I'm having is with the die holder. So let me show you what I mean. Let me get 2 hands on this. Okay, so what's happening is this holder, I need full access 180 degrees. So I'm hitting the other side of the side. I could cut this, but I still might run into this problem. So I was able to get it going for a little bit. I'd have to remove it and then try and spin it around. And it wasn't quite doing it. So may have to go pick up another holder and see if that will do it. So let me go make a quick trip to the store and come right back.
Many hours later.
Okay, so I picked up this kit, and I think just based on it, it looks like the handle is removable from the cutter, which will allow me to just sort of get 90 degrees on it. So let's give it a try here. Okay, and looks like this is removable. So great. So let me get back on here and get this set up. Looks like it'll work. So I'm just gonna get it going here, get it set up, and yeah, I think this might work. Okay, so let's keep going. Let me see if I can get some new threads cut in here, and I'll bring it back here. I've got one on, and you don't have to cut a lot of thread. You just need like 2-3 more turns, full turns on the thread, just to get it far enough up to be able to snug it down. And then I'll probably just cut these down. But it's on there pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a second U-bolt and then get this side locked down, and then we'll see how that works out. But this metal's a lot harder to cut than that really soft aluminum pipe that I cut for the Ryobi hack that we did earlier, but it's not too bad. I think if you've got a bench vise with some soft jaws, stick it in there and then turn it, and it'll be a little bit better. So let me go ahead and cut the new threads on the second U-bolt, and then we'll clamp this one down, and then we'll kind of prove the concept there. If that works, and I'll keep cutting them. You need 2 per wheel, so you need a total of 8 of these. What I got from Amazon was a 10-pack, so you're gonna have about 2 left over. Wish there was a way to cut these a little bit faster, but you just kind of got to do them by hand. If someone's got a better idea, please post that in the comment below, and we'll try it. But so far, it seems to be working well. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease and some cutting oil. I cut the threads up on another U-bolt, and you can see it is pretty locked in. So I do need to trim these down a little bit to get full swivel, but it's on here. I haven't tightened it down. They're just on here finger tight, but it is pretty solid. So let me go ahead and do the other full wheel. So I've got 6 more of these to cut the threads on. It goes pretty quick when you get it in the bench vise. And then we'll put all the wheels on, put it on the ground, see where we're at. Took me a little while to cut all those threads by hand, but you can see now all the wheels are attached. These are the rear wheels because these don't swivel, don't have the problem with the access or the interference of the wheel with these extra long U-bolts, but I'm still going to cut them down a little bit later. As you can see, the ones in the front right now, I haven't had a chance to cut them yet. But anyway, that's it. Let's see if it actually works. Yeah. So now this luggage hitch is a wagon. So the only thing I've got left to do is I've got to attach this to the front, and then there's a good bar right here that I can get the U-bolts around, and they're slightly different size. So I gotta go get those and attach that, and then this project will be done. If I were to do it again, I got this off of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. You find these used all the time, but I would look for one that has the folding hitch. I can make this into a folding hitch. I can buy a separate attachment to make it out of the way, because I'm worried that if I'm dragging this behind me that I'm gonna hit somebody with that. So put it in the folded position and drag it around. And then also there's kinds that have like sort of a mesh floor so that you can so small things won't fall through. But usually when I'm at the junkyard or going to a swap meet, I'm buying pretty big stuff. So this would be just fine. If I find another one, I may replace this one. But again, it's just some U-bolts that I picked up from Amazon, and these casters I got from Harbor Freight, but you can get them from Amazon. So I'll put links for all of the products below. Same with this handle I got from Harbor Freight as well. Let me go find some U-bolts that will fit the handle and then cut down those really long U-bolts, and then I think we're job done.
Several days later.
So in order to attach this handle to this front bar here, in order to make it a pull wagon, I got this from Harbor Freight. It's normally goes to the wooden dolly, and you screw it into the wooden dolly, and that's how you can pull the dolly around. This will fit around here with a couple more U-bolts. So these are 25 millimeter off center, and it should just fit here. And then it's a little tight here. I just have to squeeze it a little bit. And again, it's one of these things where it's a little bit too long. So I don't know if I'm going to have to end up cutting new threads on this or not. Maybe okay. So let me go ahead. Got to use 2 hands and try and attach this on here, and we'll see if it actually works. Okay. So I got it on, and the good news is I don't have to cut any new threads. The threads do go up high enough where I can just get it on here tight. It's still fairly long, so I may just get a Dremel tool and cut these off, but I'm probably going to get either a nylock nut or a lock washer just so it doesn't come off. And then I've got to cut the threads on those bottom ones, but you can see it's on kind of loose right now. I'm going to try and find something so I can take it off, maybe right here. So take it off so it's, and get like a quick disconnect or something like that, so I can take this handle off, because it's when it's sitting on the hitch, if you can imagine this on the back of a wagon or an SUV, you don't want this handle sort of just out there in the wind. You've got to be able to remove the handle, store it either here or inside the SUV when it's on the hitch. And I may get a different wagon. I'm thinking about getting one that has the folding mechanism, because this thing is a tripping hazard. So if I could fold this up when I'm pulling it around, have it fold up at a 90-degree angle, that might make it less of a tripping hazard. But first thing I got to do is get the front casters to work. In order to do that, I've got to trim down these U-bolts. And so let me just go get a Dremel tool and just cut it off a little bit, or a cutoff tool or something like that, so I get these wheels to rotate. Okay, I happen to have this Milwaukee cutoff tool, which I think will work really well for cutting these bolts off so that I can get the caster to turn. The rear ones don't really matter because they're kind of fixed, but the ones at the front, I need the casters to be able to turn. So let me go ahead and just cut those off real quick. Okay, so use this Milwaukee cutoff tool. It came in really handy, a lot faster than a Dremel. And I had to cut off quite a bit from the front U-bolts. On the back ones, you can see that's how long they were, and had to cut off a little bit. I tried to leave as much thread on here as possible, so that way there's enough meat for the bolts to bite on. So I'm going to probably use nylock nuts or maybe lock washers, just so that these wheels don't fall off when I'm going down the road. But now you can see the casters completely rotate. And so if we put it on the ground now, you can see I've got a sort of a wagon that I can drag around while I'm at the junkyard or at a swap meet. You can just throw this on the back of the truck or on the back of the wagon using the hitch here. And then once I get to the junkyard, pull it off the hitch and then put these wheels on it. I put it on 5-inch wheels. They might be overkill for this application. You might be able to get away with a 4-inch wheel or a 3-inch wheel, but the hardest part of this project was finding these U-bolts to fit. So I will put links for these U-bolts that I got from Amazon in the description below. And then again, you got to modify a little bit by tapping the threads a little bit taller, longer, whatever, and then use a cutoff tool to cut them shorter so that your casters can swivel. And then I'm going to try and find something. So this is here, fine. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to take this off and then maybe find a way to maybe like a U-pin joint. It's just to get the handle, take the handle on and off so that when it's on the hitch, that the handle isn't on here. And I'll tighten these down. I don't think I need to tap the threads, but let me tighten them all the way down and see, because I thought I got it pretty tight earlier, but maybe not. Let me get a wrench. Okay, so there is plenty of thread on this U-bolt, which is an M6 U-bolt. The ones for the casters were M8s, but there was definitely enough thread on there that you can just tighten it all the way up. That's kind of cool. I think I've got my little wagon project ready. And so we'll try and find another option to get this handle more easily removable. I may try and find a better version of this wagon that has the folding hitch, but if you don't, I mean, it does work. So all you've got to do is just get some parts. Half of them I got from Harbor Freight. This I got from Facebook Marketplace for like $20 or something like that. So anyway, you go ahead and I will find equivalent parts that you can get on Amazon in case you don't have a Harbor Freight near you. I think these are pretty standard 5-inch casters, and 2 of them are fixed in the back. 2 are caster swivels in the front. And then this is a handle that goes onto the wooden dolly. And I think I'm missing a couple screws. So I'm gonna have to go get those from Harbor Freight or just a hardware store and lock those in. But you kind of get the idea. It's a little bit of work. If I was a welder, I might consider like welding these U-bolts in place or something else just to make it more secure, because what you don't want to happen is have these wheels fall off while you're going down the freeway with this hanging on the back of the wagon. Okay, so that was the last step. So I picked up this variety pack of PTO pin assortments from Harbor Freight, and all I needed really was just 1 1/4-inch lock pin. And you can see now that the handle is fully attached. You don't want it to just hang out here because it doesn't quite fold out of the way when you have it on the tow hitch. So I think when it's on the tow hitch and traveling around, I'm just going to take it off. I mean, it's not quite a quick disconnect, but it's probably as quick as of a disconnect as we can get. I can get it off here, 2 hands. You can just pull that out, pull this out, and then the handle kind of can store out of the way. And then this part is attached on here pretty firmly, so you don't have to worry about it. So then once I take it off the hitch, I can just get this on here. It's going to take like a couple hands. If there was a smaller one, it would fit better, or I could just take a drill and enlarge these holes so it's easier to fit. But there you go. Can I get it all the way through here? There you go. And then when I'm at the swap meet or at the junkyard, I can just pull this around with me, use it as sort of a rolling wagon. So there you have it, just a few extra parts, and we're able to hack this hitch carrier with some caster wheels and some other miscellaneous parts, and this furniture handle from Harbor Freight, and make this into a wagon that we can pull around and make it a little more useful. So anyway, all the parts, again, we're going to link them in the description below. If you have any questions or suggestions on how to improve this hack, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and to the newsletter using the links below. We'll share more tool buying tips, classic car and classic motorcycle project finds, some motorsport news, and maybe a wrenching tip or 2.